Hello and welcome to part 2 of our email application project. I'm Jeff LaBeouf, and in this video we will create our database and connection script for our project. In the previous video we demonstrated the final project, the final application, and how it's going to work, and we reviewed the HTML files. Let's begin by turning on XAMPP and connecting to PHP MyAdmin. So in my web browser here, I've typed in localhost //php myadmin, and I've connected to PHP myadmin on my system, and I've clicked the Databases tab. The first thing we need to do is create a new database for our web application. Our web application is going to have a mailing list of user information. So that will include their email address, their first name and last name, as well as a customer ID. So this database will be called email_app. I will choose create, and the database email app has been created. You can see it right there and over here. Now this database does not have any tables yet, so let's go ahead and create our first table, which is mailing list, and it's going to have 4 columns. Those columns are ID, that'll be a member ID, first name, last name, and email address. In this next form, we can specify the options for our column. So the name first, which is going to be ID, first name, last name, and email. Now we have to specify the data type for these columns. So the ID is going to be integer, and that will auto increment, which is right here, A_I for auto increment. Next is first name, and that's text, so we're going to use varchar, and the length is 255. Same thing with last name, 255, and email, 255. Going to press save, and now we have the table mailing list. If I query it, there's no information in the table yet, but I can see a list of the column names and their type and all the information about it. One last thing I need to create here is a user, and the user account will be the account for this database that the website or the web application will use to access and communicate with this table. So to do that, we need to go back to our email app database, click on the breadcrumb there, and I can see that I'm in email_app, and I'm going to click privileges. So let's create a new user, and we need to specify the name, the host, and the password. So the name will be email_admin. There we go. And the host is simply localhost, and the password we will generate. So this password isn't something that you will need to remember that often, because typically as you will not be entering this in as a human, you'll code it into your application so that it is protected and secure, but it also is the application uses this username and password to communicate with the database, so it's authenticated. And that way other people on the web can't connect directly to these tables and try to edit the information. It should only be coming from your site. That being said, we need to record this information. It's a good idea to document all of your your applications that you build, including the database information. So in particular here we're going to record this user information and the table information. So before I click Add User, I'm going to open up my Notepad file here that I'm using to document my application. I've already set up my connection info. I have the database name, email_app, the host, the user, email_admin, and the password. So I'm going to copy this and paste it here. And then I've recorded my table information. I have one table, mailing list, with ID, first name, last name, and email. This is just a handy piece of information to have when I start building the scripts for our application. Let's save this and close it. We will add user. Make sure we're granting all privileges on database email app. And now we have added a new user. This user should be able to access our email app database. We can close PHP_MyAdmin at this point and go over to Dreamweaver. So in a previous video I discussed how to create a database with PHP_MyAdmin and create a connection script. But just as a quick review, I'm going to open up my connect.php file here and plug in that information. So here I have already defined my variables. I just need to initialize them with values and then set up my functions to connect to our database. So we have dbc is the actual variable that holds the connection, and the host, user, pass, and name are going to be passed to this MySQLi_connect function. So the DB name is email_app. The user is email_admin. The password is paste, and the host is simply localhost. We can save this, and now we have a connection script to be used in our PHP scripts for this application, and those include compose, remove, and sign up, which we will review in our next video. Thanks for watching.